Okay.
I'm not gonna take out 15 seconds.
All right.
Okie dokie. This is Vladimir, everyone.
Oh, should I start? Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I introduced you, so
Thank you.
yes.
The more people talk about me, the more goals I'll score, said Mario Balotelli. Racism is among society, whether it's at work, among children that's playing, and it's at school, and it's especially in the professional sporting area. Today, I will be informing you about racism towards one of the youngest, one of the greatest, my favorite, the best player, Mario Balotelli. Pedro Pinto and James Masters of CNN stated that Mario Balotelli threatens to walk off the pitch if racially abused again. And Wright Thompson of ESPN quoted from the fans, directly from the fans, and they said, "You are going to get a banana," as in they treat him and look at him as if he's a monkey. Although that I want to talk about days and days about him and how good he is, because he really is, I would just be talking about his background, which comes with a lot of arrogance and confidence, because there's discrimination against him as well as racism. His his parents were originally from Ghana, but Balotelli was born in Italy. Although he was born in Palermo, Italy, but he was never looked at as an Italian, because the rule in Italy is if your parent is from out the country, you're not considered Italian until you're 18. Then you're given the right to apply for citizenship at 18, but you're not Italian. You're your parents, whatever your parent is. So he was never Italian. He was Ghanaian. And as a child, he was always getting in trouble all the time at school. And at age 14, he tried out for the national team, but didn't make it because he was too young. At age 16, he tried out again. In 17, he tried out and he started playing for Inter. And then he, at, when he became 18, he got his citizenship and he finally became an Italian and he started playing for the national team. And afterwards, he began playing for now he's playing for AC Milan. Um, Discrimination towards him was talked about while, which wrote, which is one of the writers of ESPN, and they would just talk about how the audience, basically the fans, would talk bad about him while he's on the field, and Enter was was charged $65,000 for racial comments and that they would make, and Roma was charged $60,000, and Lazio was charged $300,000. And finally, I would talk about racism when he was booed at Roma, Lazio, and Inter for name calling, and they called him the little black boy because he was adopted by a Italian family at age 2 because his mother, he was treated badly from his previous parents, and then they adopted him. So they called him the little black boy, not his parents, but the fans and everything. And there was an interview, and he said he told the person that was doing the interview, he said, "You can quote me on that. The next person that throw a banana at me or call me a monkey, I will go to jail because I will kill that person." To conclude, Balotelli simply stated that racism springs from ignorance, and he said that although that he's of his background, and people always willing to talk about it and say bad things about him, but they don't know that he donated 60% of his money to charity and to kids in Africa, which a guy like him makes millions and millions of dollars if he donates that much money. But the media doesn't talk about that. They just talk about all the other bad things he does. Like he does. Well, I hope that I've informed everyone about the unfair actions that are currently happening in Europe, because we think racism is bad here, but in Europe is a lot worse. Like certain countries, like, I don't know if any Germans here, but in Germany, there are parts that they're not even aware that there's black people in the world. And racism is a lot worse there, so people is looked at worse than they are looked at here. And I hope that everybody understand about his background, the discrimination against him, and racism. In 2 years' time, I'll be a social worker, and I hope to fight social injustice, racism, discrimination, the best way that I know how. Thank you.